to get my thing up. Maybe I can get a few people in here on the live. That would be awesome. So I can see the live chat. If anybody comes in, we'll give everybody a few minutes to come into to the live if they can. They might be out Christmas shopping. Who knows? So hopefully you guys will be able to make it in. Where's the camera? There's the camera. Okay. Who's there? Welcome. Welcome to the live for Discovering Erica. If you don't mind saying hi in the chat, that would be awesome. Everybody might be out Christmas shopping. You guys, can you believe it's like 23 more days till Santa, to Christmas? And I have not bought one gift. So I know I definitely want to get something for the grandbabies before we leave, so they'll at least have a couple things from us. But I was like, oh my goodness, time is really ticking by. And so I think I'm going to make this live where we're going to be talking about three things that you can do when you're getting ready to take off. And so as I am planning this, I'm learning new things, and I just want to pass it on to you, just in case you're thinking about planning your leave for spring. I know everybody likes to hunker down for Christmas and for winter. If you haven't already left and headed out west or places that are warmer, preferably lots of people go to Florida. But I wanted to share with you three things that I am learning about preparing to leave, right? So one of the things that I am trying to get together is our route. And being that we're leaving in the dead of December, which is like winter, air quotes, knowing which direction you're going and the mountain terrain is vital and important because you need to know what the weather is like in those areas. And you may need snow chains for your tires if you're going in certain areas, and you want to make sure that you are equipped with the things you need to travel through those areas safely. So right now, I think we're planning our route to go a little bit more south. It would be more ideal to go just straight over, but the way that we'd be going, we'd be definitely hitting some snowy areas. So going south is always going to be better whenever you're traveling, trying to get out west. So you always want to check the weather, check the roads, make sure the direction you're taking, if it's a mountainous area, that you have chains for your tires, and not just your truck tires but your camper tires as well, because you want to be able to stop. So that's my first tip on preparing to go, to make sure that you are having a safe route to be able to get where you go. Now, depending on where you're going, you may not have a choice. You might have to go a specific way, but for us heading to Arizona, we can kind of choose the route, which is very nice. And so the lower south that we could get, where the weather is not a winter type weather, the better. Now, one of the things I am having to look at is if we go low and we travel through Texas, what part of Texas gets snow, right? What part has bad weather? And then when we get through it, what part of New Mexico will have snow? Is it mountainous? So those are things you need to know whenever you're starting to plan you're leaving, and you're leaving in the winter months. So that's one of the things that I've been looking at, making sure that if we needed change for our tires, how much is that going to cost per tire, and things of that nature. So that's one of the things that I have put on the books. Hi, Bob. How are you, friend? I got really sick, and now I'm just fighting whatever this is. And so, the second thing that I want to talk about that is important whenever you are planning to get out is checking your rig, like checking, especially when it's been sitting. So, one of the things like RVs, if you've seen people, they have them in their yard and they don't take care of them. RVs are like wooden houses, right? As long as somebody lives in the wooden house, it's like the house has life. But as soon as people move out, the house starts to fall apart and dilapidate, and it just goes down. Campers are the same way. As long as people are living in them and maintaining them, you do well. But as soon as you park it in the yard and you don't give it good in the woods in Northwest Oregon. Well, that's fantastic. Um, as soon as you park it in the yard and you don't tend to it or you don't check it, that's when you start to get the soft floors. You start to get the leaks and all that good stuff. So one of the things we're having to do now is go over to the camper, and being that we're preparing to leave, is making sure that nothing's leaking. We emptied out the tanks. So we don't want any water in the line or anything going through that would cause water, and make sure that there is no moisture getting in. Yes, you're right, Bob. Constant maintenance. Make sure there's no water getting in that could cause any kind of mold. Because let me tell you a mistake I made. When we first put the camper in storage, I took everything out of the freezer, and I did not prepare ahead of time, maybe like 2 days, to turn the freezer off and the fridge off and let it thaw out. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take everything out, then I'll go back over there tomorrow and and clean it out because everything would defrost. Well, it was like 2 days. And in that 2 day period, it just started to look like it was getting mold. So because the water had been sitting in the freezer with the door closed. So I had to go over there really quickly and take my bleach and everything and clean everything up and make sure it was very, very dry. And I go over there and I check it periodically and make sure that nothing gets in it. Also, you can use the little damp rids, right? So we have a big window over our bed that seems to get a lot of condensation. And so you could put those damp rids right there in there to kind of help soak up that moisture. But you want to check your rig off and check the floors, check the bathroom, check the sink, check underneath. You want to make sure that you're testing those floors, that nothing is getting weak if you're not in it continuously, to keep an eye out on those kind of things. So on our preparing to leave, that is some of the maintenance we have been trying to get over to the camper and take care of, is going in, and Cedric's been kind of checking the underbelly, making sure that nothing has, because see, when you park it, stuff still crawling around at night, raccoons, possums, squirrels, all that stuff, and you don't want anything, rats eating their way into your camper bottom. So you have to be checking those things, because then you get ready to pull out and then all of a sudden you have a foul smell because something's died in there, or all of a sudden you have a little hole, and that can be an issue. So you want to make sure you be checking the camper thoroughly, making sure where you park it, that it's kind of a clear area, that there's no food around there. I preferably not to have my camper under anything that, like trees or anything close to where it's a food source or a water source, because that is where animals are going to congregate. They're going to go wherever there's food, and they're going to go wherever there's water. So you just want to kind of keep an eye on those things when you're getting ready to go. Start doing your maintenance and stuff ahead of time, making sure that your camper is ready to go and it doesn't need any major repairs or anything major to look at, because you'd hate to have to deal with that when you're getting ready to pull out. So that's number two. The third one is managing, and this is one that I did the first time we pulled out, but I didn't do the second time. I just kind of said, you know what, we'll figure it out. When you map out your route and you know which way you're going to go, you can then go to Gas Buddy or any of those little apps and put in your route, and it'll kind of tell you what you're going to be looking at as far as gas prices in those areas. And it kind of gives you an estimate. So you put in the truck, you put in your towing, you put in your distance. For us, we usually travel about 4 or 5 hours a day, but we stop about 2 or 3 times, which makes that 4 or 5 hours can easily be 6, but you only went 4 hours in distance. And so, Bob, right now, I am I'm doing this video because I'm doing everything I'm telling you now. So I don't, we're not in a rush to get where we have to go. And so I'm trying to decide if it's going to cost us more in gas to go further south and then over through Texas, or if in the time frame of when we're leaving, is the weather going to be decent enough for us to go through the way we came back, which was Arkansas, Oklahoma, uh, Texas, New Mexico into Arizona. So that's one of the things that's why I'm doing this video, because I know that a lot of times when people are planning, you're trying to figure out you so many things on your mind, like making sure you have what you need to live in the camper, make sure that the camper is running smoothly. Hey, yes, Sarah, we are trying to figure out our plan. That's what Bob was just asking me. I was trying to see if the weather would be conducive for us to go Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, or if we're going to have to go Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, on over into New Mexico and then into Arizona, which would extend our trip by hours, right? So that's the whole thing I'm trying to figure out. And so being that we are looking to leave in about 2 more weeks, okay, so our kickoff date is either December 21st, or if for whatever reason we run into any issues, then it'll have to be December 26th. It'll be the day after Christmas no matter what. But our target leave is the 21st, which gives us 2 more weeks. And so right now, like I said, we're just making sure that there's no invasion of animals that are biting their way through the bottom of the camper. And those are things you want to check when you're getting ready to go. You want to make sure that the truck is in optimum position, as far as like making sure your tune up is done and your oil change is done, your tires are good. And I think it makes more sense to buy chains in places that don't get snow often, so they'll be cheaper, than to get it in places that get snow a lot and then they're higher. I might be wrong on that. Correct me in the comments if I am. But all those things are the things we are doing right now. So if any issues come up, then we are able to kind of tackle that before the day we get off. So many times working at the KOAs and meeting people at different campgrounds, one of the biggest thing is they find out something is wrong a couple days before they're getting ready to go, which kicks out their leave date, and they have to put the camper in the shop. And let me tell you, these people, when you put your camper in the shop, they are in zero hurry to get it back to you. So it could be 2 weeks, it could be 10 days, it could be one day. It doesn't matter, especially when it gets closer to camping season and everybody's trying to get their camper service and maintenance, and they're pulling it out of the garage or out of the storage, and they're just trying to get it on the road. You could be at the bottom of the list. So camper maintenance, whether it's a fifth wheel, whether it's a travel trailer, or whether it's a motorhome, you want to make sure that you are doing everything possible to give your camper life while you're not using it. Don't just park it and wait for the next camping season. Go out there and make sure that everything is in good running condition. It's not growing any mold from condensation. It's not doing any soft floors. You don't have any, rats or anything chewing into the belly of your camper. Your tires are still in good condition. They're not getting bald at the bottom. There's a lot of things to kind of keep an eye on why your camper is not in use. And you usually keep an eye on those things when you're using it. So as a full-time RVer, I'm always looking at things like that. And Cedric is always mindful of those things because that's where we live. That's the house, and those are the house maintenance. Yes, and Sarah has a wonderful idea that there are apps that you can download on the phone that will tell you free camping. I like Campendium sometimes. I got the state park apps, the state park map app. That state parks are awesome. I have to give it. New Mexico is like my favorite for state parks, just because I can get hookups 14 bucks. It doesn't break the bank to stay there and have power. Now, you won't be conveniently placed. Like, you'll have trouble with internet and phone and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of times when you get to those places, you're looking for a little peace and quiet. You're looking for a little bit outdoors, and you don't mind it so much. You may not be able to do that depending on where it is, if you work from your camper. But it is a great idea as far as cost is concerned. Uh, what you said, Loverlander and free camping are those are two good ones too. I think I've heard of the second one, the free camping. I'm a big boondocker. I really do love the boondock. So that was another thing. I didn't even think about that. Another thing I need to tell you guys, if you have a generator, change the oil. Don't let the gas sit in there and mess up your generator. We pay too much money for camping supplies. None of this stuff is cheap, right? And so make sure you're checking that generator, making sure you're changing the oil, making sure you're firing it up, making sure it's still running. We're gonna get a key fob this year because of the simple fact is we have to go out and manually turn it on. And this particular generator we have, you can get a key fob from it from Harbor Freight. So we're gonna get a key fob. So when it's in the morning, you want to make some coffee, and it's those hours where you can run it. You can go in and click it, and it will turn on the generator from the outside. And then at night, when you want to do it, click it and it will turn it off. So key fobs are wonderful. Generators are even better. So you're right, Bob. Generators are important. If you don't have a motor coach with a generator already on there, you need a generator. We're looking at some portable solar panels. That's something that I desperately want. And right now we can't afford to have them installed on the roof, even though that would be the best and ideal. But the solar panels will be great for when we need to run the lights and we don't want to rely solely on the battery. The solar panels charge the batteries so we can use the lights, right? And use the heat because the heat can run off of the battery and the power the battery and the propane. So you want to make sure that you have it. So I personally would like to have at least two panels of the solar panels so we can charge our batteries and be able to use the battery. We have two batteries, so we'll be able to use them and keep them charged so that way, because the generator, we basically use that at night. One of the things you keep in mind is your fridge, it runs off of propane or power. And so you put your propane on, but make sure that you got enough propane to last. And your heater runs off of propane, right? And so the generator, you technically don't really need it to the evening unless you want to watch TV or you want need to use your computer and you need to charge things and you want to make sure that you have a generator just because you never know when you might need it. But if you have those solar panels, you could be charging that battery and still use those other things, with that and not have to worry about the battery dying and then you don't have a way to charge it, or you got to pull out the generator and kind of keep it because you don't want those batteries to die. Those are the type of batteries, once they go dead one too many times, it kills the cell in there and it's just a pain because you have to get another one. Thank you, Patty. Welcome. And so those are some of the things I wanted to make sure I tell you guys that that's what we're doing. We're having to check the generator, check the camper, check the tires, make sure the truck is in running condition because stuff breaks down, stuff wears down, and when you're not in it, you might miss the certain warning signs that things are wrong and you don't want to get in there and oh my goodness, honey, the floor is soft in the bathroom, you had a leak. Make sure those lines are empty. If it's cold where you are, winterize it, stick that stuff in there, make sure the line is through. And those are just some things that we're doing. Check your route. Make sure that if you're moving like us, crazy people, in the dead of December, which is a winter for a lot of places, that your route is a route that's not going to be road closed. Now, Bob, you know this. You know this. Generator is used on emergency. Well, yeah, you definitely want to make sure. And the generator needs gas too. So you want to make sure you got gas. That's another thing. Make sure you got gas. But Bob knows this. And anybody who lives where it snows knows this. There are roads off the highway that if it snows badly there, they will close the road, right? And you can't get off. That exit is blocked and it'll say you cannot get off, turn around, alternate route. So when you're planning routes, you want to make sure you're not trekking through areas that normally are closed and that you're unable to get through there and you get stuck there or stuck in an area that you're not outfitted to be in. So All these things are things that I'm learning and that I want to pass it on to you, because maybe you didn't think about it. Maybe you're like, well, let's just go. So you could put these things on your checklist. Like Sarah said, go ahead on and grab those apps. There is another app. There is one more app that I want to add to this. It's called Driveway Surfing, right? And there's an app, I'll get the name of it and I'll post it below, where you can uh work it out with people to park in their driveway, right? Like you literally could go to someone's house and park in there. It's called driveway surfing, and you could park there for the night and it's free. Or a couple dollars here and there, it's cheaper, but you could just like park there and then get up in the morning and go. So, and then we still have harvest hosts, so that's great, but you want to be careful where you park because little critters run around there at night too. So there's a lot of options that you have, but you want to make sure you have a great night too. I know I'm about to go to bed myself. Well, it's 7:20 here. It feels like midnight. Since the time change, it feels like midnight, and it's only 7:30. So yeah, but good night, Sarah. We'll talk later. And so I just wanted to jump on for a second and kind of put this little bug in your ear of things that you should probably put on your checklist if you don't have these things already, or if you have them and you have not yet looked at them and saw that maybe you need to do some maintenance on it because you haven't touched it since you came back in August from camping, and it's just sitting in the corner. I would not recommend letting stuff that you've paid some very good money sit in the corner without any kind of maintenance from you for months and months and months, from September or August to April. I just wouldn't do that. I definitely recommend you go and fire it up, look at it, turn it on, walk around it, touch it, step on it, wipe it down. It'll save you money in the long run, and it just makes good sense to check on your thing. So as different things come up and we're preparing to go, I will come back on and do lives and talk to you guys and give you some tips. And like I said, our shove off date hopefully is the 21st, if we have no foreseen hiccups. If not, it'll be Christmas, the day after Christmas. We'll give it another week or so the day after Christmas, but most definitely the day after Christmas, we are out of here no matter what. So be praying for us. Like I told you guys, I am expecting a miracle. I know something big is going to happen, and I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. I know that it costs a lot to be moving around like this, and to be honest, we're just kind of moving on faith, and I know things will work out. I'm trying to work. Cedric's out working right now. We're doing the best we can and trying to take turns and shifts, trying to come up with this money, take care of the truck, take care of the camper, take care of the maintenance I'm telling you about now, keep gas, keep a place to stay and eat, and then get on the road. Everything takes money, but God is able, and he has always taken care of us. And I don't know why, but I have a feeling something big is going to happen between now and the time we leave. I don't know why, but I just feel it. And I can't wait to tell you guys about it. If you haven't had a chance, check out our counting our blessings videos, because that we want to stay in a state of gratitude and thanks for all the little all the little small things. Carrie K. Oh, Bob is a smart little cookie. Jumper cables, jump box if you can afford it. Okay, because it's hard to get people to stop and help you and give you a jump. Make sure you got jumper cables. Make sure you got a jump box. Those are excellent investments. Whether you travel or not, those are excellent investments. We got to get a new battery, and our battery is almost $300. Lord have mercy, almost $300, and it's about to put us down right now. It's going that thing where the cranking amps ain't there, but you know what? I smile because I'm grateful anyway. And so that is my tips for tonight on preparing for the road. I hope you found some of these insightful and informative. And if you got a tip yourself and I missed something or I can add to my repertoire, please let me know. Leave me a comment below. I would really, really, really want to hear from you guys. And maybe the next video I can add in your tip to what to do when you're getting ready to go. And when we head over to the camper to start our cleaning and looking, we'll do a video and show you what it is we're looking for when we go home and we're getting ready to go. And we're gonna be over there at some point this week. We had to move it Thursday. Like I said, it was just too expensive in the one place, $200 to have it parked there. And so now we have a little bit of a cheaper place that is parked at, and we're going to go over there and start getting our stuff ready and cleaning it up, and getting her ready to go and on the road. And I'm really excited and reunite with my friend Sarah and sit by the campfire and do some videos. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for jumping in. Bob, you are the best, man. Thank you so much for being my bestie in Oregon. Patty, thank you so much for jumping in. Thank you. I hope I look halfway decent. I'm in my jammies. You guys can't see my SpongeBob pajama pants, but that's where I am. And I just want to thank Sarah for coming in and dropping in her 2 cents, helping us come up with that list. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Good night. Bye, Patty.